Hello world, it's Dave again with another edition of my Lucid Dreaming Log. This time with easily, I started the most messed up dream by far that I have ever had. And I seem to have come to this conclusion that like I would really, at the beginning of this, I guess I wasn't remembering any of my dreams because I wasn't keeping this log. Now I am. And I've realized that there seems to be a bit of a theme in my dreams. And it's that they're violent and filled with conflict. I don't think of myself as that, that kind of a person, but apparently that's what's coming up. At this point, I'd give anything just for a dream where I just chill on a beach or have a nice friendly conversation with somebody. I mean, they always seem to be so messed up. Or just completely and utterly random. I have yet to, I've logged now 20 dreams? Logged 20 dreams, and there's not one of them where I'd say, oh, that was just a nice dream. Okay, so without further ado, let's start it up, get this going. I managed to log 3 more? Yeah, 3 more. So here we go. I will try and read directly from the notes and then just expand as necessary. Okay, so Dream 18, February 4th, 2014. I haven't done this in a while. A dream of a rural area very similar to the island. Vancouver Island, that's where I'm from. So, I also need a haircut. Also, a couple of different homes, one of which is okay, so I dream of a rural area, much similar to where I grew up. I dream of a couple of homes, one of which is set up as an internet cafe. Okay, yeah, this is kind of cool. I know there's some really, I don't know what era they'd be from on the island, but they're just like these houses where they're all brown wood, and the inside's all very brown wood. And when you're out in the woods, it's just this kind of feeling, I don't know, these kinds of houses that I've been in. And one of them was set up as an internet cafe, and it's cool. This dream, I definitely have some details. So I wanted to play some games while I was there and hang out with some friends. And I remember particularly the games that were being played, and some kind of multiplayer thing, were a mech suit game. So, you get into mechs. I remember when I was very young, I used to play Mech Warrior. That was a great game with some old school joystick. That was cool. I remember, this is cool, this is strange, but it will not be the most recent dream for strangeness. So I remember leaving the house on a flying sofa, which is pretty cool. I mean, that in itself, that I get to ride around on a flying sofa. Definitely dreaming at this point. Let's see, I flew around for a while, eventually ran out of time and wanted to... Oh, okay, so apparently I'd paid for time at this place. Okay, sorry about the order thing. So I left my house with a flying sofa to fly to this house to play at this internet cafe. And after having paid, I ran out of time. Eventually ran out of time and wanted to, but never returned, except for once, and it had become too expensive. It's coming back now. It's funny when I read these notes. I remember the dream more, obviously. Yeah, I came back and they were like, it's $90 for an hour or something. I was like, what? That's crap. I'm not going to pay $90 for an hour of video games. So, yeah, then I remember flying over a campus similar to UBC. That's where I went to school on my flying sofa, the strangeness. Oh, yeah, cool. Other vague details. I remember connected to this campus was a huge bridge, and I'm riding around on the flying sofa. In this lowered bridge in the city, there were cars driving across. It was like a lowering bridge. Okay. This is getting confusing. It's as though this were a disjointed dream that I'm reading from. Okay, blah, blah, blah. So I see this lowered bridge in a city where cars were driving across. Before it was fully raised, so they were submerged in water. Okay, so basically, I'm thinking of the image. I remember the dream. It was cars trying to drive across this bridge. I guess it was raising out of the water. Strange. but it hadn't raised out yet, so they were driving through the water, if that image makes any kind of sense. And then finally, my dream jumps, and I remember a friend, and I'm watching my friend, and he's there being harassed by his parents, telling him what to do with his life. Poor guy. Now, I know this guy specifically. I couldn't see who it was, but again, this kind of subconscious knowledge you have, I was like, I don't even need to see a face. I know who that is. Okay. So there you go. That's incredibly disjointed, but that's the dream. Sort of the flying sofa dream where I wanted to play video games on a house similar to one that I would find on Vancouver Island. That's that dream. Okay, so then we got dream 19, February 5th, 2014. Okay, this is so weird. Okay, this is better organized as well. Dreamt of my old room on the island, coming home to it, and one of my friends was moved in because my parents could get more rent from him than me. Just like, oh, those bastards. And so I remember being very angry and saying, I would have paid more if I had the option, but you guys just kicked me out of the room. Moving out my stuff, lost my phone. Okay, yeah, and they booted all my stuff out of the room. I remember this from the dream. And I lost my phone. Never owned a phone when I was in this house. Craziness. So then my father and my grandma said they'd help me go look for it. The dream jumps. I dreamt of playing paintball, another common theme in my dreams for whatever reason. Paintball shows up all the time. Playing outdoors. There's a friend there. I managed to get a lot of kills. Here's another specific incident. I remember getting a kill on this one guy. I shot him, but he keeps firing afterwards. He keeps shooting at me. And then we had an argument over the fact that I was like, you got shot first, buddy. So why is it that you're still here and shooting at me? And he was like, oh, no, well, I was never shot. And we had this big argument about that. And then the dream jumps again. This might be a record for like how many random jumps to very different styles of dreams. I mean, it's one thing my dreams kind of jump sometimes, but it's not usually so different. It's not like I'm dreaming of my room, and then I'm dreaming of paintball, and then this next one is a big twist in the road. I dreamt of a variation on Bram Stoker's Dracula's scene where they purify the earth. If you've read the book or seen the movie, you know the scene that I'm talking about. So they have to put these crosses in and everything like that. In the book, it's much more complicated. Dracula has actually spread these boxes of earth out around London, and it makes for a really interesting section of the book as they go and hunt down each individual one. Should have done a book review when I read that book. Anyways. So I'm there purifying the earth after paintball. And unlike the book, Dracula shows up while purifying the earth. And we managed to escape him using old-fashioned cross methods. We got some crosses, and we're saying it's the power. No, we just got crosses, and he's very scared, and we managed to get away from him. And then I go to this cool, almost like action movie shot, where I'm like, my view is of a camera, and I'm following Dracula, and he's walking through this kind of like cobblestone street, and I'm following him, and if he's walking like this, the camera's kind of like down here off to the left and behind him, and he's holding this like pistol sword out behind him as he's walking along, and it's dragging along the ground. I was just like, that's a real badass image. That's kind of cool. And I'm glad that I remembered all this detail of where exactly the camera was and everything in the dream. So that was pretty cool, and that's kind of where the dream ends. Excuse me. Pretty weird. Okay, now we come to, I think, definitely the most messed up dream that I've actually recorded, and probably one of the most messed up dreams of my life, I would say. So I dreamt of being in some Eastern European country. This is Dream 20th, February 6, 2014. I dreamt of being in some Eastern European company where, it was hard times. There's very few supplies. People are just scraping by to survive. And I'm a part of this community that is scraping by to survive. And then there was some shiesty individual who comes up to our group of people, whoever I'm living with or around, and he says, we could have a better life for ourselves if we smuggled some, this is vague in the dream, we smuggled some item on a train. And I was like, okay, well, you guys seem shiesty, but we'll do it. And, a lot of people agreed to go in on it and to do it as well. And so we get the things. I think it was like photographs or something that we were supposed to smuggle. And so we get onto this train. And when we get onto the train, I'm starting to get a worse and worse feeling. I'm starting to feel like, oh, this is a setup. And then the train gets stopped and pulled over. And lo and behold, we have been set up. And there's these people who just like the SS, like the police, the military police, get us off this train, and they find that we've all got these items on us, which means, that we're in big trouble with the law. And they basically say, we're going to shoot you. And it's so weird, like when you remember something like this so vividly. I remember the terror of the idea that someone was going to shoot me. And they lined us up, and they all got us on our knees, and they all stood behind us, and they said, we're going to shoot you in the back of the head. And this was terrifying. I've never had, I didn't wake up sometimes I've woken up because nightmares are so bad. I've woken up before, but I didn't wake up from this one. And I just remember the terror of having this, knowing that I'm about to be shot. And they do it. I can hear the gun. They pull the trigger, and I can feel the impact on the back of my head, and that I'm dying. My head's blown out or whatever, and I'm lying on the ground. And then there's no pain though. And I'm kind of just lying there, and I'm thinking about that fact. I was like, there's no pain at least. So I was like, if I just calm myself down, that really there's nothing to be afraid of because there's no pain. So this is okay. And then, weirdest thing happens. So I'm resurrected, and I wake up back earlier in the dream. All this weirdness compounding itself, where I wake up, and it's as the guy approaches us again and says that if we get on this train and do this thing, we'll have a better life for ourselves. And I know what's going to happen, but I can't seem to explain it to anybody. And we go and we do it again. And we get off the train, we get caught. And I remember trying to explain to people that it won't actually hurt, and if you just stay calm, that you don't need to be afraid. And this happened 5 or 6 times where I was, down on my knees, gun to the back of my head, and then boom, they pulled the trigger. And each time I had to focus on calming myself and getting rid of the anticipation of the shot, knowing that I would probably just be reset like this, until finally, but about the 5th or 6th time that I'd gone through this loop in the dream, I transitioned where I came to, and I was in this big mall or something like that. And I remember this shopping cart filled with tons of stuff, and one of my brothers is there. And I remember vividly, at that point in the dream, when I transitioned into this shopping mall or whatever the hell it was, I remembered the whole previous line of the dream so far, and I remember then telling you, I'm telling you now, I told my brother who is there in the dream, literally, almost word for word, how I've described it now. And so that is really, really trippy that you could so accurately describe something in a dream that was a dream. It felt like Inception. It felt like crazy Christopher Nolan movie. And I even remember all these funny details. My brother's lost weight recently, and I remember even talking to him about that. I was like, oh, and you look good. I can tell you've lost the weight. So all these other things making it in there as well. And then there's some other, there's just a few other things that happened to finish the dream off. I'll be mysterious about that. But I can definitely say I was like, wow, that is messed up, let alone the terrifying, execution, but then the cyclical nature of the dream that I kept repeating it and could only share those details, to then transitioning into a stage in the dream where I would then explain. Have you ever explained to someone in your dream what you were dreaming about? I mean, that's bizarre. So that's one for the record books, and I put big messed up award with little, lines coming away all around this whole thing here, because it really deserves it. That was messed up. So there it is. That's my dreaming log update. I'm gonna keep at it. It'll be just interesting. if I have these to look back on at some point. See if they keep getting weirder. You know, I cannot wait. I'm going to be over the moon when I can finally write into this journal. Had a nice dream, sat by a beach and drank delicious, you know, fruity beverage, as opposed to, you know, Eastern Bloc execution. Anyways, like I like to say, yeah, if you enjoy it, like, subscribe, share. I'll have more of these dream log updates coming as I continue to write them down in my book. And like I like to say, until we meet again next time, world, thanks for tripping with Dave, and ciao for now. Peace.